Hey everybody, welcome to Boast-Cast. Today is our 10th episode, and if you enjoy it, you better hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any new episodes coming out in the future. And we love to keep the conversation going with all of you, so leave a comment down below on what you thought of this episode. Today we're doing something a little bit differently, and Adam is going to be taking over as host. You ready, Adam?
Yeah, man, let's do it. So my very first question for you is, where'd you grow up?
So I was born in a town, Las Vegas, New Mexico. I'm sure nobody's ever heard of it, but that doesn't really matter.
So it's the other Las Vegas.
Yeah, there's two of them, surprisingly.
Okay.
Probably more. And then I moved to another small town, Belen, New Mexico, around second grade, and that's about my experience in New Mexico.
Okay, so you moved to California right after living in New Mexico?
Yeah, about high school. Around sophomore year in high school, I came out to California, and long story short, here we are now.
I gotcha, cool. And then where do you currently go to school now, or what are you doing?
So my primary role in school, I'm an MCJ advertising major at Fresno State, and should be graduating in the next year. So that's really exciting.
Okay, man. Yeah, cool. Let's get right into it now that we have a little bit of background on you. So what is Costall? What is Costall?
So Costall is a movement. We're trying to embody the empowerment of people that want to find success and don't really know how to do that. So we're trying to develop a roadmap for people to be able to obtain success, but a more simpler version of that question, a response would be, it's our videography company. And we're really striving towards producing really great content. We have a show with it, and as well as this podcast.
I got you. So what does Costall stand for? What does it mean?
I am glad you asked, Adam. So it's broken down very simply. Courage, openness, spontaneity, try, adventure, learn, love. And basically, to summarize, if you want me to get into it, courage entices openness. Openness encourages spontaneity. Spontaneity allows you to try. Trying something new is an adventure. Adventure allows you to learn something, and learning is loving life.
Wow, do you have that memorized, or were you...
I have it all in the laptop.
I got you. Yeah, I don't blame you. That's a lot of stuff memorized. Yeah, definitely, for sure. So I know there's a lot you want to talk about with your videography company, but we're kind of gonna stray away from that for now because this is a channel that is about you, or a podcast. It's about YouTube content and YouTube channels. So I know you have two YouTube channels. Can you explain what each one of them, what their purposes are?
Sure. So one of them is Costall Entertainment, and we have all the podcasts, all the Costall on Set episodes, uploading to that primarily. And then I also have a personal YouTube account, just my name, Ryan Toole, and they're about even right now in subscriber growth. But I try and put most of my cinematic videos on the Ryan Toole account and all the business stuff on the Costall Entertainment account.
So which one was first? Which one did you start working on first?
Wow. I've had the Ryan Toole account since like 2011.
Oh, okay.
But I just recently started uploading it whenever I graduated high school, which was 2015.
I got you. So what were you putting on the Ryan Toole YouTube account when you were starting out?
Really poorly done cinematics. Like, I really didn't know anything about videography. I didn't even know anything about editing. I was using iMovie, and I was just trying to put some stuff together and see what looked cool, and basically that's it.
Do you remember the first video that you put on your channel? Even if it's deleted now, I don't know if it is, but...
I do remember that. It was a video that I made going to Yosemite, and honestly, it took me like 2 days to edit because I had a 13-inch MacBook, and it was one of the older ones, so it was like a nightmare to edit on. I didn't even have Final Cut at the time. I was using iMovie, like I said. It kept crashing. It was a mess, and I had GoPro footage, so like it was all in all a bad worst case scenario.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty proud of the video, how it turned out. It's still one of my favorites, and I don't know if it's on the YouTube account, but if you want to go find out, go ahead.
Cool. So you said you're using iMovie. What do you currently use now to edit your stuff?
I use Final Cut Pro for a while. I was using that for about a year.
You did use it, or you do?
No, I did use it.
Oh, did, okay.
Yeah, and currently I'm using Premiere Pro.
Premiere, okay, cool. So which one out of the two, in your honest opinion, do you like better?
Oh, you know the answer to that question. Yeah, definitely not really a fan of Premiere, but I'm learning it and I'm loving it.
Yeah,
as
I feel like it's a tougher
it.
beast to conquer. I think anybody would tell you that. Like, they're honest about it. Like, it's a tougher beast to conquer when you're starting out. But it's probably a lot of stuff you can do with it once you figure it out. But I'm not trying to convince you or anything. I'm just out here asking the questions. You know how it is.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, for sure. So one of the early videos that you put on your channel that I watched way back when, I just recently revisited, was your near-death experience while you were white water rafting? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, white
Okay, let's talk about that, because that video was insane. Like, in all honesty, like, it looked sketchy. It looked very scary. So what were you thinking when it was going on? And how'd you even get the footage for that in the first place?
Okay, so I had no business whitewater rafting. One of my friends invited me because it was the class he was doing at Fresno State. And so I was like, cool, yeah, I'll do whitewater rafting. It sounds really mellow and chill. And so I went with him. I brought my GoPro. I put it on a chest mount. And we just jumped right into it. And the first 2 rapids were the hardest ones to conquer. And I fell out the second rapid, just starting up.
So what was it like when you fell? Like right when you fell out, what were you thinking? Did you think it was not? Like, did you think you were gonna be okay? Like, oh, I just fell out. I'll get back in.
Yeah, definitely. I was probably like, I looked up after I was submerged underwater. I popped my head up and I see the boat like 10 feet away. I'm like, oh wow, I fell out. And then I like go underwater again. I look up and the boat's like 30 feet away. And then I knew it was real, and I realized that this is like a really bad situation. And they give you like a little brief tutorial whenever you get into it. And it's just like cross your arms and hope for the best. Don't try and swim because the life jacket protects you. And I tried to swim at first and I was drowning. So I'm like, all right, don't swim. That's like, it's kind of like what you don't think.
So it's like the worst thing you can do in that situation. Because
Yeah.
it kind of like, I'm assuming like you run out of energy faster when you're trying to like swim and stuff, like, you know?
You just go under.
Oh, really?
doesn't even
Okay.
work, Yeah.
Okay,
The
I see.
water's moving so fast. And
Yeah.
Before then, California had a drought for a few years, and it was like the first year California got like a lot of rain.
Oh, okay.
And it was just like the highest the river's been in like years. So
Yeah.
definitely just like worst case scenario all around.
I got you. Cool.
But I made it
Yeah, I was
through.
gonna say you got back in the boat. Your buddy helped you out, right? Like got you back in.
That was actually the guide, and it was
Oh, it
his
was the guide,
Yeah,
okay.
it was his first time going out with
With a
of
group.
people.
He did his job. Let me tell you. Like I don't know if they do star ratings for that guy, but he deserves a 5.
4.
Maybe I don't know. It took him a while, I guess. No, but that's
did
not
take
his
him a
fault.
long
That's more
time.
your fault for like being so far away.
Yeah, what can you do?
All right,
It was
cool.
very intense.
I got you. Yeah, but there's a lot of videos that I want to talk about, so we're gonna move along here. Now,
cool.
what's the deal with the ALS hot pepper challenge? Like, was there a backstory to that? Or, like, I know they did something with the ice bucket challenge a long time ago, but where did the hot pepper thing come from?
Yeah, that was actually motivated by one of my favorite YouTubers. He's actually a cooking guy on YouTube, Binging with Babish. I'm sure a lot of people know about him. He's really, really very popular. And he wanted to do that because one of his biggest fans had passed away from ALS, and he just wanted to help support awareness towards the cause. So Adam and I actually did that right on the street here in downtown Fresno.
It was like right across the street too.
Yeah, before we had any association with
CMAC,
our
yeah.
studio here. And yeah, it was pretty wild.
Yeah.
It was very hot.
It was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be too, is the funny part. Like we bought the peppers at Walmart, like, you know, you don't think they're
Yeah.
going to be that bad. And it was pretty bad. We were running down the street with like milk, like just
Yeah.
taking turns sipping it. I remember
definitely
that. Yeah,
recommend that video to anybody that wants to see us in pain.
for sure. Cool. And the next thing I want to talk about, not so much, it is a video, but just the experience. What was it like to go up in a hot air balloon? Because that's something a lot of people can't say they've done.
Yeah. That was so amazing. I would do it again if I had the chance tomorrow. One of my cousins in New Mexico actually owns a hot air balloon, and it's really popular out there. Surprisingly, they have one of the biggest hot air balloon festivals every year in October. And so I went back to visit for my birthday, and it just worked out to where he was in town that week. I was in New Mexico that week, and we just made it happen.
So was it actually his hot air balloon, or was it just one that you guys rented?
It's his. He has a couple.
Oh wow, are they pretty expensive? When you like, are they an investment when you're buying them? Like, does he give people rides like as part of like a side job thing, or is it more just for entertainment?
Yeah, it's for entertainment, and it definitely costs a lot of money.
Oh wow, yeah. Is there a lot of upkeep on it? Or is it just like the initial?
yeah.
Okay, I can imagine. Wow. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I was curious what it was like to go up there. Have you ever been like in a helicopter or anything that you can relate to it, or?
Man, like no, I've never been in a helicopter, but I would say it's very different just from like seeing what other people have experienced going up in helicopters.
Yeah.
It literally feels like if you release a balloon with helium and you just see it float away, it's honestly that same feeling because it's completely silent. There's no interference. It's just you with the thin weaved basket between you and like 1,000 feet of ground.
How much did you trust him? Like, does he have the experience like where you felt pretty confident?
Oh,
Or
yeah.
is it like, I just want to try it, whatever happens, happens?
I definitely trusted him. I had really no choice in the matter. Before I knew it, we were already like 100 feet off the ground. Like we jumped in the hot air balloon basket on the ground. There was like 6 grown men holding it down just because the balloon's trying to take off. And definitely had to jump in it. And before I knew it, we were hundreds of feet in the air. It was amazing.
Wow. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I just wanted to hear your experience with the hot air balloon, because it's definitely something that I want to try. But it's like once I get there, it just seems like it'd be so sketchy. Because like, is it really meant to go up in the air like that? It's just like basically cloth. You know, it's so weird.
It is really weird, but it works out, and a lot of people do it, so I recommend it to anybody.
I got you. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is this series, two-part series that you did called Feeding the Homeless. Like, what was the inspiration behind that? I'm sure it's a very good message to it. And I'm not trying to be biased. I literally just want to hear your version of, like, what happened. How did we end up with that project?
Yeah, so the initial idea behind that project was in my undergraduate studies at Fresno State. One of my GE classes actually motivated me to seek some interest into it.
What class was that?
It was a communications class.
Oh, okay. And, so GE class? Okay.
Yeah, for our group project, we needed to find something that was wrong in our community and kind of pitch a response to how to make it better. And through that process, we did the project. We got an A. We did really well on it, but we didn't physically do anything for the community. We didn't disrupt. We didn't take it in our own hands. We just presented, and that was it. And I didn't feel satisfied, honestly.
Oh, wow.
And it got me thinking, how can we give back? How can we change the community with very small amount of money? Like, we didn't really have a lot of means to go about it, but I knew if we were able to just buy a few bags of groceries, we could definitely feed a lot of people.
I mean, we fed like 50 people, and sorry to interject here, but we fed like 50 people, and it was only like $25 total. So it wasn't that bad. But so what changed the second time that we did it? What was different about it?
We definitely went about it a more professional way because we had a lot of criticism, both good and negative, on the first video.
We learned a lot from like what we did wrong with it. It was, the intention was right, but there was definitely a more professional way to go about it than just going out to the street and like handing out food.
Yeah.
There's establishments that like they take care of that, and they have a lot more purpose to like helping people get back on their feet. And those are the people that we really wanted to help out, the people that are trying to get back on their feet, and they just were going through a tough time. And like our way of giving back was just to give out sandwiches, and we actually gave out a few more things that time. There was like chips and oranges and stuff and things that were donated. But can you talk about the place that we did it at a little bit, and like the people that were with us?
Sure. Yeah. We sent out a message through Fresno State, and we definitely tried to spread awareness for it. And then, like Adam said, we went the professional route, and we reached out to the Poverello House of Fresno, which is it's a homeless shelter here in Fresno that really take people off the streets that really want to get life back for themselves and definitely want to change what they're doing. So it takes them off the streets, and it provides them the resources to be able to do that. So we partnered with them and provided around 300 meals. And we grouped up with a few Fresno State students, and they all helped out. We all came out. It was a really good day overall.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely cool. And I noticed you guys had some drone footage. Where'd that come from?
That came from a good friend, Kyler. He has a Mavic.
Cool. Yeah, at the time we didn't have a drone, but actually a little surprise here. We actually just got a drone. You want to talk about that a little bit? Like, I know it's a little it's stepping away a minute from the YouTube videos, but I was just excited about it, so I want to bring it up. Go ahead and talk about it.
Yeah, definitely. We're trying to always grow and expand our archive here at Costall, and something that we got was the drone. Like Adam said, we also got.
What drone is it?
It's the Phantom. Yeah, it's the Phantom 4.
3. Nice. Yeah, Phantom 3 SE. Which is the same price. Sorry, I'll just let him know. Same price as the Spark when you buy it refurbished, and it comes with all the stuff. It came with some accessories. I'm really excited to try it out. It's actually arriving today, so hopefully we'll have some great footage of it, some test footage coming out soon. Definitely. And then what's the other thing that you bought? Because I'm sure that's going to help with your channel a lot.
Yeah, definitely. We got actually a gimbal for our cameras. So
what are those?
It's just a 3-axis gimbal to basically stabilize the shot rather than a Steadicam, which takes like years of learning. The gimbal is just like take it out of the box, put in the batteries, calibrate the camera. It sounds like a lot now that I'm saying it.
Yeah.
But it's pretty much out of the box. Put the camera on it, and you're good to go. And it's like literally looks like the camera's flying. It's super steady.
Okay. So where's the first place you think we're going to be using these two items? I'm kind of leading you on here.
I think probably at like my house. I think.
I'm sorry. The first official event you think we're going to be using them at?
Oh. Oh, I see. Yeah, so we actually just got word today that we're going to be behind the scenes working for Grizzly Fest. And
okay, talk about what is Grizzly Fest? This is huge news for us. Yeah. Just as a personal thing, like we're really excited about it. We just found out like an hour ago, and we're all giddy about it. We really want to talk about it. So let's just take a minute here and talk about Grizzly Fest before we come back to your channel.
Yeah, so Grizzly Fest is a music festival that's put on here in our town of Fresno. It's been going on for a few years.
Sorry, yeah, go ahead, finish, man. I'll ask after.
It's been going on for a few years, but they just really revamped the whole idea behind it, and they just moved it to one of the biggest parks here in Fresno, the biggest park in Fresno.
Definitely.
Yeah, and it's going to be a 2-day event now. And like you said, we have some big names coming to it. Our good friends Boom Boom Brady that were on the show, Costall on set, as well as Snoop Dogg, Foster the People are coming through. Just like a full
it's a whole
range.
Yeah. Nice.
Synced up.
Cool. So then what do you think that we're going to be doing when we're there? Like what is the plan?
So we actually have access. We have media press passes, so we have access to behind the scenes, behind the stage. We have audience passes to where we can really just. They want us to be able to portray the idea of like somebody going to the event and what they could expect at the event. So it's kind of just the portrayal of somebody at the event or what somebody can expect going to the event in the future. So
okay, cool. You want to give a shout out to the guy who actually helped us out with all that?
Martin Watts.
Yeah, if he sees this, thank you, man. We're not going to let you down, we promise. All right, cool. Let's come back to your channel, man. And last thing I want to talk about on Ryan Toole's channel for now is the music video that you filmed. What was that like to film a music video? Especially like, I feel like the song itself was pretty cool. And it was our first experience filming a music video. So what'd you think of it all?
To summarize it, it was different. We never really did anything like that. I really do wish we had the equipment that we do now, but
doing it with some makeshift GoPro like that looks like a drone,
like a 10-foot selfie stick.
Oh my god!
Yeah, we definitely put some creative ideas into it. It was a really good stepping point in our career. And I would really love to do a lot of music videos in the future.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of potential there to do some, especially with the equipment that we have now and the knowledge that we have now about like photography and videography and lighting too. Learning as we go. But yeah, cool. So I just wanted to get your opinion about that. And the thumbnail for it was pretty cool because it was in that tunnel. And what was going on when we were trying to take it? Yeah.
We probably shouldn't talk about that too much, but
I mean, it wasn't bad. It was just like cars kept coming back and forth. It just took some time, but it was a good picture. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. People do a lot worse for a lot less. So cool. So now I want to move over to the second channel, which is Costall Entertainment. So how did that start? What is the origin of that channel?
We were just producing a lot of content that was really exclusive to Costall as a entity, and we definitely wanted to highlight that in its own spotlight. We didn't want to change it up or confuse my audience that was here for me. We wanted to give them a place to go. If they just wanted to mess around with the Costall stuff, then they could just go there and have all the Costall on-set productions, the Boast-Cast that you know and love. Definitely they could just find in that one place, and that was the motivation behind that.
I got you. Cool. So what kind of videos, like you said, Boast-Cast, what are the videos are going on this channel specifically right now?
We have Costall on set. We do a live stream. I don't know what we should say about that.
We could talk about it a little bit because I think there's a good purpose to it. We did not have any experience with live streaming in the past. The Dig a Hole Challenge was a way for us to meet people, kind of gain audience in like a unique way. I have some feelings about people that just sit at their computers playing Fortnite or PUBG. Nothing against that, but I feel like you're not really going to meet a lot of people doing that because so many people are doing it. The whole challenge thing, it is what it is. Like, it's been a cool way to build up the channel, in all honesty. Yeah, like, you meet a lot of people through it.
People through it as well.
Yeah.
We definitely, it's being able to create a community, and I really feel strongly about creating a channel.
Too, man.
Yeah, she's been getting strong digging that hole. But it's great for our community as well because we really want to build Costall as a basis where people can ask questions and rely on us for any kind of information, whether it be entrepreneurial advice, whether it be photography advice, really anything. We love communicating with our audience and building our subscribers one by one. Each individual person matters to us, and that's kind of the point to it as well. Rather than how he said, just playing Fortnite, you're purely focused on Fortnite. You really have no capability to interact with your audience other than them just watching you and watching your reaction.
Yeah, I feel like the game, like when you play like a video game or when you're doing something like that, all the questions are centered around the game for the most part, you know? When we're out there just sitting around, like all the questions are kind of more towards us, you know? Yeah. And it's a cool way to build an audience, just make friends doing it, and they're learning more about us over time. Like I don't see it as something we would continue to do much in the future, especially with
like a backhoe
especially especially with the summer coming up. It gets hot, but it was definitely something that was cool, and I just felt like it was a different way when we were starting out the channel just to meet people. Like there's a lot of people that we've talked to, and they know who they are, that like we never would have met them otherwise, you know. They're very supportive of the channel. They're supportive of us, or at least I feel like they are. Fly was giving some great comments about the show and some things that I should improve on, and I definitely tried to do that in episode 2. So I just think it's a cool way for us to meet some people, but I'll move past that because that's just all I have to say about that, and I think that is for you too. So let's talk about Boast-Cast. What is the name? What does that mean, Boast-Cast?
So Boast it's basically just highlighting and talking about your accomplishments in general. Really straightforward. It just came to me, what's the purpose of a podcast? And we really want to focus on entrepreneurism as well as leadership within our community as well as the entire world, and see what people are doing right and try and mirror that and bring that to a conversation where people can utilize that information and use it in their day-to-day lives. And how do you do that? By boasting about yourself, boasting about your accomplishments.
That's cool. It's clever. I mean, I've heard it a million times, but it's clever. Cool. So I like how one of the things that we try to do, just in all honesty, is like not use like generic names that everybody else uses. Like, for example, instead of calling them vlogs, we called them chapters. Instead of calling it a podcast, you call it Boast-Cast. I just think adding some creativity to it, you know, and not just going with the norms with everything is a cool way to be a little different.
I think like I see it as a straight line, and you should follow it to a certain extent, but don't follow it directly because you're not going to get any success that way. You need to stray away and kind of swerve your way around that line, and you're going to get there eventually.
And I don't want to put you on the spot, so if you can't think of any, we'll move past it. But can you think of any channels that have like done something where they've made a name like successful just because they had, like, I don't know, a vlog, if someone made that name famous or it's just everybody used it? Do you have any examples of that?
Well, kind of. Vlogging existed before Casey Neistat, obviously, but he's the one who made it mainstream.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so I kind of see that as a thing that we can do for Boast-Cast or even Costall on set. Like, it all exists. It's not new. People are doing podcasts. People are doing shows. But it's how do we do it differently, and how do we try and emulate that towards our own success? And I think that's the bigger question.
Okay, I got you. And I don't want to talk too much about the guests that we've had on, because I'm sure people can go back and watch them, or they already have watched them. I want to talk about, like, what niches or different styles of channels do you want to have on in the future? What would you love? Who would you love to interview, like, doing what, you know, on YouTube?
Definitely some of those bigger names, like Casey Neistat.
That'd be cool.
He's one of my favorites. I can't even lie.
Yeah. But before we talk about names itself, I just want to talk about, like, what types, is there any type of channel that you want to interview that, like, just someone from it, anybody from it that you have not yet?
Jesse Wellens. He did a lot of videos in the past. I've actually met him in Venice. Yeah, Venice, California.
So what's his style of videos? What's different about it?
It's very cinematic. It's very real. It's not something synthetic that you watch because you're trying to get, like, super, like, a Hollywood effect. It's just as simple as it sounds. Just a guy with a camera and really good editing techniques. Like, he's really straightforward with his content, and it's honestly what I kind of strive for in my life. Basically just total and complete freedom, and basically to live your life by that kind of motto. I really respect that, and the fact that he's been able to do that and contain that kind of lifestyle with everything that's going on around him, I think that's really cool.
Okay, I got you. Cool. And now moving forward, is there anybody specifically, I know you just named someone, but anybody else that, like, really big names or just really special names that you would love to have on the podcast at some point?
At this point, I really don't know. Definitely it's taken a turn. A lot of YouTube content is really at a halt, honestly. Yeah. A lot of the people that were producing on a daily basis kind of just stopped out of nowhere. Different problems arise, and I'm really looking for that next thing that takes it and flips it 180. Yeah. And I haven't found that yet. So
I got you. In my opinion, I would love to interview anybody that, like, I watched growing up on TV, you know? I think that'd just be so cool to be like, hey, like.
I thought the question was only to YouTubers.
Oh, I mean, I was saying, like, anybody like that. It doesn't have to just be YouTubers. I guess, I should have specified. So I guess now I'll ask you again, is there anybody that you want to interview just in general on the podcast, even if they're not a YouTuber?
I don't know, but I think somebody super controversial would be fun, just to, like, see where the audience takes it, just have a super neutral standpoint on it. I don't really have anybody in mind. I don't want to put anybody in the spotlight like that, but I definitely think somebody that just has a super controversial presence.
I think that would be cool too. But I think at that point, you'd have to be, like, willing to ask them. It's kind of tough because, like, everybody's super nice in person, you know, like, unless they're not, but, like, 99, you know what I mean? But, like, 99% of people, even if they're jerks, like, on whatever, they're pretty nice in person most of the time. So it's kind of really tough sometimes to ask, like, difficult questions, you know, like, even to their face, because, like, they present themselves in a nice, respectful manner when they're on your show or when they're talking to you, because they want to be seen in that light. Yeah. So it's kind of tough sometimes to ask, like, difficult questions like that. But I think it's something you just get used to over time. It's like you understand your role more. You understand my purpose here is not to just be their friend, but to, like, actually find out some truths, find out some things that everybody wants to know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just like the balance. I understand. But let's talk about another thing where people are getting interviewed, and that's Costall on set. So what is that?
That is the show that you host and
true.
co-produce. I produce and direct it as well. It's a really cool show. It's a really fun concept. We definitely feel like the entrepreneurial thing leaking into it a little bit, just because we're trying to highlight our community of Fresno. A lot of people don't know about Fresno, and it's one of the biggest cities in California. It's the central hub of California between San Francisco and Los Angeles. And a lot of people don't even know it, or it's not really known for anything particularly good.
Yeah.
And that's what our venture is, to try and strive for bringing a better spotlight to our community and show what we're capable of. And we're capable of a lot down here.
I got you. Cool. So what segments are on the show?
Cool. So obviously the on-set feature, which is your interview portion of the show. We have Cooking with Clifford, my friend Clifford Mutton. He's a fantastic cook. He makes some delicious enchiladas, and we're gonna do something pretty epic this month, but I'll keep that a secret.
I got you. Cool.
And then we have Daring Adventure, and that's my series. And like I said, we're trying to bring more awareness to Fresno, and that's kind of what we're doing. Whether that is go to San Francisco for the day, go to LA for the day, we're just showing people that it's possible to live in California and not have to be on the ocean.
Just do it. To come into Fresno. I got you.
Adventures, yeah.
Okay, I got you. Cool. So who's been on the show so far? I know we only have one official episode, but let's talk about that.
Yeah.
So it was cool for me. So I'm kind of like boasting about myself here.
Do it. That's what it's all about. We had Jerry Dyer, the police chief of Fresno, and then for our second episode, which isn't even released yet, I don't even know if I should be talking
tomorrow,
about
so it's
it.
Cool.
Oh, it's going to be released tomorrow?
Yeah. Well, the interview part will be because they're performing on Friday.
Right. And pretty obvious at this point, but it's Boom Boom Brady. Our boys Boom Boom Brady. Felix and Jordan came on Costall on set. It was the best one yet. I know it's our second interview, but it's the best out of the two.
I think so too. I'll be honest about it. Yeah, I definitely think so too. I mean, I loved interviewing Jerry Dyer, but it was just my first time doing it, and like he's a really high profile guest. He even admitted he's done like national interviews and stuff. Like, so he was just like really calm and stuff. And then for me, it was like kind of nerve wracking, like just because I was like, he's like so calm and collected, and I'm like, I have all these that too. But he had all these questions, like I had all these questions that I wanted to ask him, and like I was like, do I have enough time to ask them all? And it did come down to the wire. One thing we did do is we kind of upped the time a little bit for this one.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, I was like, okay, if people are gonna watch it, they're gonna watch it anyways, right? But if I lower the time on it, make it like a limit of 20 minutes, there's so much I'm leaving out where it's like, if people are going to watch it, just watch the whole thing or don't watch it or watch parts of it. But it's like, I want to ask everything that I want to ask. And then like whatever you want to watch out of it, you watch. But I want it all out there. So going forward, I think this one's like 35 minutes. It's a little longer.
It's a longer one.
It's longer. The whole thing is going to be like 40 minutes probably. I guess so that means the interview is like 30 minutes, which makes sense. But it was just like I had so much that I wanted to ask them. There was two of them, so it's like I had to let each one of them talk. So it just takes more time in general.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to rush it, so I feel like I was a lot more calm this time because I was not worried about time constraints. I just let it go, and where it went, and it was really cool.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
It went really well.
For sure. Cool. And then the last thing that I want to talk about on the channel specifically comes from like more of the cinematic stuff, like especially that you have the new equipment. Like, what are your goals to make some like cinematic footage, especially with Grizzly Fest coming up?
Yeah.
What are the plans?
So my cinematic background, it's been all personal. It's been adventures and stuff that I've done in the past, kind of just for myself personally. But I really want to bring that to the business side of things. And we really want to start working with more and more companies. We're working with some right now with our Costall videography business. That's another thing that we have going on underneath the surface of it all. But definitely want to bring the cinematic style to the business forefront. And start working with more companies, start bringing it to Daring Adventure, and just bring that overall buttery, delicious content to every aspect of Costall.
I got you. Cool. So let's talk about the future a little bit. Where do you see the future of each one of these channels going?
As big as we can get them. Like, that's kind of the overall goal right now, and it's what we're striving for. I really don't have any particular goal. I really don't I don't want to say I don't care, but I do care. It's kind of
where it
like,
goes.
Yeah, it's where it goes type of thing. Like, I'm confident enough in ourselves, in the work that we're presenting, that it's going to grow regardless.
I think that's kind of how Grizzly Fest ended up happening for us. It was just like, we're just going to throw it out there, and if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Like, you don't set the bar high. You don't tell people, hey, this is what we're doing until it actually happens. Like, now we're confirmed. But it's like, once you start telling people stuff and it doesn't happen, then it kind of makes you feel bad. Like it reduces morale of yourself and just the people around you that are part of it. So I think that's a cool theme for the channel. It's just like going forward. It's like we're obviously going to announce things when they're happening, but like you don't really want to hype things up too much until they actually happen or you're confirmed that they're going to happen. Just because you don't want that disappointment when it doesn't happen.
Yeah, we just want to be about it. We just don't really, like you said, we don't want to be talking up a whole lot of stuff that we don't even know is going to happen yet. We just want to go day to day, do what makes us happy, and see where it takes us.
I got you. Yeah, for sure. Now let's move away from YouTube just for a little bit. Let's talk about some personal stuff. Like what are the plans for the summer? And we'll start with the end of May and we'll move forward from there.
So the end of May, we have to finish a lot of projects that we have in the works right now. With Grizzly Fest coming up, we're going to try and get that under wraps. We have to work with them on how we're going to produce the content. Costall on Scent, we still have to film a few features for that. Boast-Cast, we're doing that every week.
Yeah.
And then
what about the event we're going to?
Yeah.
I got you. You're getting to it.
The event we're going to a anime cosplay event. It's going to be the first time I've ever been exposed to that kind of stuff.
Same here.
Same to you?
Yeah. I mean, I watched some of the shows, but I've never been to an event like that. Like, it never really interested me until we interviewed our last guest, who are a big cosplay group, and they kind of inspired us. Same with the LA Explorer, so I'll give him credit too, because he was the first one that made me think of it. But they kind of hit it home, like, hey, let's do it. Like they seem like they have a great time with it, and like everybody seems so positive about it. Like it'd just be a cool experience.
Yeah, I'm excited for that, and we're gonna be live streaming the event. We have the new equipment, like we said. We're gonna produce a video highlighting some of the main features and things that are going on at the event. I don't know, it's just one of those things. We're gonna sit back,
see where it goes. Yeah, for sure. Cool. And then what was the plans for over the summer? What are you doing?
So we're partnering through our school through a program that they're offering with the Big Brother Big Sister program here in Fresno. And we got a pretty great donation. A grant, I guess you would call it.
Yeah, technically it's a grant.
A grant, yeah.
Yeah, from the Community Service Center at Fresno State, yeah.
Yeah, do you want to talk about it?
Well, I mean, talk about it from your experience, from your side, and I'll fill in the gaps. Because technically I'm not saying one way or the other, I'm just saying I was the one that technically started it. So talk about how you came into it.
Yeah, you definitely presented it to me. You sold it, and I loved where you were coming from. It's all for the kids at the end of the day.
Well, actually, let's back up. I want you to talk all about it, but it actually started because of the helping the homeless stuff. Remember that? Because Melissa. That's true. So talk about that first.
What do you want me to talk about?
Well, I mean, okay, then I'll fill it in because I know this is like okay.
I don't know what you want me to say.
You're good, man. But with the helping the homeless video, we talked to a lot of different resources on campus trying to spread awareness for our second project.
Oh, so you're going way back.
Yeah, because that's when we found out. Melissa told us, hey, there's this project. It's a new grant that really no one's used. Because in the past, it was only over spring break, and it was set to just spring break. They opened it up, so now they do it 3 times a year: spring, summer, and winter.
That feels so long ago.
Yeah, it does. It was like 5. It was like 6 months ago. It's crazy. So it takes these things take a while. Like that's what you learn is like you can't just do it overnight. We weren't even approved until mid-March.
Yeah, that's true. That's where it started in my mind, in mid-March. I totally forgot about where we started it. Because like it took so long just to get the ball rolling with this. Yeah. So definitely a lot of stuff has happened.
Well, it's true, and it's actually funny. Like a little detail, like no one's really gonna care. But I didn't know the application you could turn in any time. It said it was due like February 1st or whatever. So I was like, oh, they're not even gonna look at it till February 1st. Well, no, it turned out whenever you turned it in, they were gonna start the process. So we actually could have started a month earlier than we actually did. Just because I was waiting around, I was like, oh, they're not gonna take it anyway. So yeah, we would have been a month ahead. But everything worked out, so it's not a big deal.
We're still doing it.
Yeah. So with the actual project, you want me to talk about it, or you want to talk about it, what we're actually doing?
It's pretty straightforward. Basically, we're partnering with the Big Brother Big Sister program here in Fresno. We're getting some Fresno State students to help and volunteer through their respected colleges and degree departments. And we're actually hosting interviews, trying to build up a team that we really feel is competent enough to be able to work with these children and give them the quality of service that they deserve. Mainly the kids from the Big Brother Big Sister program don't traditionally get these opportunities. We're going to be going to ball games. We're going to be bringing them onto on-campus events at Fresno State, showing them just a whole different world that they may have never been exposed to or might never be exposed to otherwise. So it's a really big deal. We're going to be doing a lot of fun events, like I said, but anything else you want to add?
No, that's a good description of it, man. Yeah, I feel like it's definitely something that we're very proud of and something that we're going to work hard towards. It's every Monday in June, so we're going to be busy on those Mondays. Canceling them off in case anybody has asking us for anything, but just saying. But yeah, so the final thing I want to talk about is just like some travel related questions. Like, is there anywhere that specifically that you want to travel to in the future?
Definitely. I want to travel around the U.S. a lot more than I have. I've been to a lot of states, but I haven't spent a lot of time in a lot of states. Definitely want to go like road tripping throughout the country. Definitely want to go to Canada. Definitely want to go to South America. I've never been to Mexico. I've been like on the border a few times, but never just crossed over. But I guess any particular place I'd want to go to would probably be like Cape Town, South Africa.
Oh wow!
Just like it's different. Maybe after the drought. Yeah. Hopefully that gets figured out. But definitely would like to go to Africa. Definitely want to volunteer my time once I have the ability to in the future and help throughout the world in whatever ability I can. That's kind of my goal there.
Oh, yeah, I got you, man. Cool. Yeah. So that's basically all the questions I have for you. Is there anything else that you want to say before we end this thing?
That's pretty much it.
Any final words? Nothing.
I think I'm all out of words.
We always let our guests promote stuff. So is there anything you want to promote?
Definitely, if you want to check out some of the early work that we started on, go to my YouTube channel. The link's in the description. That's pretty much all I have to shout out. Everything else is you can find it on there.
I got you, man. Okay, cool. Yeah, well, this has been episode 10 of Boast-Cast. We really thank you all for joining and listening to Ryan's stories. Like Ryan said, we'll put the description, the link in the description. There we go. Link in the description. Yeah. And other than that, you have a nice day. Thank you all for tuning in.
Thank you.